Imagine this, you have this big dance coming up on Saturday and you have no idea what to wear. So instead of going to the mall yourself and trying on these clothes, you decide to let your pet rabbit go and try them on for you. Now you may be thinking, well, what's the point of having your rabbit go and try on the clothes when you can just try them on yourself? That's exactly what the cosmetic companies are doing with when they animal test. See, now animals and humans are two different things. There's no reason for your animals to have to try on your cosmetics and not be able to try on your clothes. So, when did this all happen? According to crueltyfreekitty.com, animal testing didn't really become a thing until the early 1920s, but it wasn't mandated until 1938 when the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act became a thing. Well, according to the FDA, in 1938, this untested pharmaceutical drug called elixir sulfonamide killed over 100 people. And this act basically said, you have to test on animals now. So animals were being used to test for food additives, pesticides, cosmetics, drugs, and household cleaning supplies. But for cosmetics specifically, the animals that they use are just guinea pigs, rabbits, mice, and rats. But why don't we test them on cats and dogs and horses and all that? Well, that's because according to PETA, they aren't protected as much by the Animal Welfare Act. And the USDA states that this act regulates the treatment of animals in research, exhibition, transport, and by dealers. So, also, there is species coverage that are over more animals and how they're going to be treated. So while animals like dogs and cats can't be tested by drugs and cosmetic uses, but animals like the small rodent animals can be used because they aren't protected as much. But animals aren't required to be tested as a law in the United States. So it's been about 100 years now, and why are we still animal testing? You would think as this world is coming up in this day and age where it's just advancing, that we'd find another alternative to animal testing. Well, we really have. And the reason why, according to the Humane Society International, one of the main reasons why cosmetic companies are still animal testing is because they are using new ingredients that aren't approved by the FDA. See, if they didn't use new ingredients, they would just be like every old regular company. So they think that they can use these new ingredients that aren't approved by the FDA. So in order to test, they have to use animal testing. Also, because they've been using animal testing for years, there are certain regulators that can hold back their production being sold in stores because they aren't being regularly tested by animals. So the new methods that we have to use take longer to put your products up than by using animal testing, because that's what we had for years. So another reason why companies still use animal testing is because they claim that the development of non-animal testing isn't really a priority, because since we've had animal testing for so long, that there isn't really a reason for them to be any other reason. But in actuality, according to PETA and the FDA, there's no, they can still test on animals, but even if they go blind or die, they will still put up the product. So this makes animal testing in this day and age inaccurate and inapplicable. So you might be thinking, well, okay, that makes sense. Why do we still use animal testing? Because cosmetic companies don't really think that there's other alternatives to animal testing. We have human patient simulations for drug uses where you just use a human-like simulation that is so real, where the human is living and breathing and dying and all that stuff, so it can be used accurately about the cosmetics. Also, you can use human volunteers. Their safety consent, they're more accurate than with animals, and overall it's cheaper than the human patient simulations. So why do we still use animal testing? We have other methods that would better the community and animal life, but maybe this world is just so stuck in the past that it doesn't really see our growing future and our present. We only have one planet, so the animals that we test on aren't going to last forever. So we should just use those new alternatives, right?